Before this all occurred, and don't worry, I am not showing you shit about the day of September 10th. I will mention it, but I'm not focusing on that because it's the aftermath that really counts in this case, as usual with a PSYOP. And I think by now we all know it's a PSYOP, that there are things being implemented by the government that are going to be not helpful to the situation, kind of like 9/11, which would happen the next day. Interestingly enough, I guess they thought it was too on the nose to do it on 9/11 this time. They do like 9/11. They chose that date for a reason. It means something to them. Whoever they are, I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to die. I'm not suicidal. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so before the event happened, a month ago, there was an episode of South Park. It has been talked about in media since. The killing, the assassination, which I'm going to keep saying because that's what it was, of this gentleman who was very much a firebrand for the right side. And that's all how you get people to cheer death. You put a right side person on the platter. Because I'm sure a lot of the people who were doing that wouldn't be doing that for other people. But anyway, so South Park had an episode where he was basically in the episode, basically. So they'll explain it here, these dudes. And this is from a month ago, like I said. This is the Turning Point USA peeps who are having a moment right now and are getting very powerful as just as a coincidence of his assassination. We don't have those every day, so it's hard for me to keep saying it. But anyway, so there was an episode about him, and there was some hubbub after he was killed, in which they wanted to take him out of the episode. Not really. They were not going to show the episode that featured him in some way or another. But then they decided not to do that because that's not what he would have wanted, as evidenced by this clip. So I didn't realize this was part of a longer episode that he did of this, where he did a whole reaction video here. Those are huge. Good job. But I saw a short about it, and I didn't know there was more here. So let's see what he says here. We're going to give him the mic.
If you will, have made their way through the cultural tableau into South Park. Charlie Kirk is mainstream now. Charlie Kirk is played a part of the zeitgeist. And in this episode, Eric Cartman, of course, the fast-talking and loudmouth Eric Cartman that he is, he sort of tries to become Charlie Kirk. So he isn't, doing a parody of Charlie Kirk. What he's doing is he's trying to become sort of like the South Park elementary version of Charlie Kirk, because as it turns out in the episode, Eric Cartman is competing for the Charlie Kirk Award, which shows that there are now kids all across America who are trying to become Charlie Kirk in this new South Park episode. I mean, it's something where 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I never would have believed that this was something that would be on South Park.
Totally. And so let's play the first one here. We have a whole gang, and we're going to kind of take one at a time. Let's just play cut one. And so for those that don't understand, South Park is very popular, where you don't follow it, has a lot of cultural power. Obviously, they're very nasty towards conservatives. They were very nasty towards President Trump in the prior episode. But I think a lot of it was hilarious towards me. I think, go through it, I got to be honest. Some of it was very funny, and I don't think we should have too thick of skin. Let's play part one, which is cut 402.
What has that kind of totally destroyed these woke little students?
Welcome to the channel, guys. Looks like a lot of whiny babies have a problem with what I say, so prove me wrong.
Hey, Glad. Well, you said nothing good ever came from the Jews, but if that's true, why are bagels so yummy?
Yeah. Well, you've obviously been taught by the Jews to have a problem with this school and with America, so let me ask you this. What is your definition of a woman?
What is my what?
What is a woman? It's a very simple question.
Well, a woman is a lady friend who, gives you kisses.
You see, you can't answer the question, but something is male or it is female. Both sides in Scripture agree to that, and that's just the truth. Next.
Okay, I want to say, because I'm reacting to a reaction right now, so copyright will be a bitch if I don't pause. But when he said the Jews thing, I hadn't known at this point when I watched this after after the September 10th. I'm not going to keep saying assassinated. I watched it after that because I wanted to get the context of that episode, and I had never seen it yet. So I just went in there like, okay, let's see what happened in this episode that he was so excited about or whatever back in the day. So when I was watching, I was like, did he hate Jews? Because it certainly seems that after his assassination, a lot of people seem to think he loved Jews, specifically ones in Israel. Yes, this is called Nothing Israel. And I've been holding that title for quite some time, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you appreciate it. But Israel has been part of the conversation for quite some time after that. We're going to get back to it, but I just wanted to point out that I was looking at this and I was like, there's a lot of Jew talk. So it's kind of weird to me, like watching the show in retrospect and I'm not looking for clues, but I'm seeing clues. And I'm seeing the anti-Jew thing come up. And I wonder if that's somehow connected to what happened and the real reasons behind what it happened. And I'm not saying shit. I don't have any proof, and I'm not going to give you proof that Israel was behind his murder. I'm just going to show the weird stuff about it. So just buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go.
Totally destroyed.
Oh, jeez.
Did you call the girls' soccer team a Marxist indoctrination factory?
That is correct.
We actually beat the boys 4-0, you know.
You can whine about American oppression all you want, but you're using an iPhone made by the free market to complain about a system that gave it to you. Girls have it way easy in America, and that's just the truth.
Roast dude, totally honed.
Women have it good in America just like black people do. Black people have everything handed to them.
I'm sick of people stealing my stick. If anyone around here is going to be a master debater, it's me. So let's go. Who wants to debate the master debater? Let's go. You right there.
That's the stupidest haircut I've ever seen.
You are now. Leviticus 3:17 says it shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings. So you can shut up, baby. You just hate American. You love abortions.
It's the stupidest haircut I've ever seen. First of all, I just think it's hilarious. And secondly, the whole thing is like, wait, so a campus thing I've been doing for 13 years to debate random college kids has now been so important that it gets prominent primetime placement on Comedy Central. I think the whole thing is just awesome. And
It's also weird in retrospect that they covered an event that would be like what happened in his last moments of life. Like that he was literally doing this, and that's on purpose because they want it to be about silencing. They're not just going to silence you with free speech in terms of the laws and shit, which they're already trying to do, we'll get into, but they're doing that with a fucking bullet to the neck. They are serious. Whoever the fuck they are, I don't want to get into it. I am not trying to die. But even though the algorithm is not going to give this any fucking attention, it might be. They gave my Epstein episode, what the fuck? It was just really good timing or whatever, but that got a shit ton of views. Let's look back at that because it's insane. By the way, yeah, check out the new episodes of the old episodes that I've posted to the archive, the Funkive. I got a radio play for you. I got a bunch of stuff. Please watch the last episode. It does not have very many views, unlike the one before that, which was the Epstein one, which is here. Like, what the fuck? And that was not in a month that I got that many views. It was very little time. So I don't know what's going on here, but please give me the same numbers on this one. That would be great, because this is important. The PSYOP is happening. It's not a fucking false alarm. This shit is going down. It's shooting season. It's shooting seasons, guys. Another shooting happened on the same date. I'm just saying, a school shooting. So shit is going down, and we got to be aware.
And hilarious. There's so much more I want to say about this, but the whole shtick, by the way, Comedy Central, South Park, you crush the water. I compulsively drink water on campus. It's like, okay, boom, we gotta stay hydrated. Now the lozenges, you gotta work a little. By the way, the Holy Bible right next to it. I even said on this campus tour I was gonna bring a Holy Bible with me to every single campus stop. Andrew, you're just, what's on your mind? I gotta be honest. That clip was hilarious.
By the way, Andrew's in the spotlight right now. He's the producer, and he's been taking over a lot of the PR stuff for Charlie after his unfortunate demise. And it's been a little awkward, to say the least.
That clip was great. And it's actually, of the 3 like long clips of you in this episode, or of Cartman doing you, or even you, that's my least favorite. So I can't wait to play the other ones. But I'm telling you, not only were you featured in this episode, Charlie, your name was in bright lights as the Charlie Kirk Award. So it was like Cartman was you, but he was attempting to be like Charlie Kirk. And then there was a Charlie Kirk Award that he's giving out to the best master debater. And we have to get those shirts for you for tour, Charlie. But it was basically an entire homage to the genre that you've popularized. And yeah, there's other people that have gone on campus, and Milo and Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro, that have done this format. But I mean, you have taken it to such a new level, billions and billions of views on TikTok. I mean, and they were so obviously parroting kind of some of your talking points. I mean, it was amazing. The things that the water, a lot of people are commenting on the water online because it really is something that you just keep doing. And I was cracking up, Charlie. At one point in another clip, we'll show it, he literally starts taking the lid off, and before he can get a drink in, he sets it back down and grabs the mic and shuts down the person he's debating with, which you do all the time, where you're almost going to take a drink, and then you set it down to get your point in.
Putting down that's it. Put it back. Yeah. Putting down the mic in between the question. That is that is pure art, South Park. That is a 10 out of 10. Look at that. Like, boom, some Holy Bible reference, and that
puts the mic down.
Like a emulation. Yeah, but putting the mic down, that is pure. And the girl reading off the phone, by the way, with like the angry, lib face, like, I'm reading so it's just perfect. Blake, your thoughts? We got 2 minutes in this segment.
It was all really good. I enjoyed all of it, and we don't want to obviously hit the end. They said a lot of mean things about various people in the episode, people who are friends of ours. But what I will say is, it was like a very flattering portrayal of Charlie, to the extent that Cartman, Charlie's in the episode, or he exists in the episode, but then Cartman is also just obviously copying Charlie. Yet it's like a very kind of flattering one. In fact, if you look online, there are liberals who are like, Charlie Kirk's going to really like this portrayal. They went really easy on him. It was very affectionate. The one thing that annoys me, to be honest, although it's also funny, is they have, Clyde Donovan is kind of parodying us, but then they have Clyde say all this Jew hate stuff in the episode, and I thought that was where they really misfired. Yeah. And
oh my gosh, they mentioned the thing I mentioned. I should have just waited for them to mention it. Oh shit.
I kind of wish we could have a giant throwdown between the people who accuse Charlie of being a wild anti-Semite and the ones who accuse him of being a ridiculous Israel firster, and they can annihilate each other like matter and antimatter.
Isn't that what Clyde basically was, right? Clyde was basically the not Charlie.
Yeah, it simultaneously gets Charlie ticks, but it is the people who kind of get in on the action and try to copy it, but they're not as good. They're just not as good.
I saw Clyde as an amalgamation of a bunch of different characters. He's got the supplement, which is very common. It's whether it's Alex Jones or whether it's Joe Rogan or anybody that's considered right-coded online has a supplement brand. So that was pretty funny actually. But yeah, I think all the Jew stuff, that was definitely my least favorite part, but I also thought it was interesting that Cartman, who has the Charlie Kirk haircut, was quoting Leviticus and basically debating abortion the whole time. So I thought that was actually pretty spot on.
What do Andrea Bocelli, Steph Curry, Justin?
Oh shit, we ain't watching that. But ironically, they have an ad right after that. So I guess basically that's the whole part of that episode. But just to give you some background and everything, and then the Jew thing coming up in this thing is crazy because, oh my gosh, the way that kicked off, Candace Owens is going off right now. We're not gonna get to her, but there's just no more time. There's no time for shit. We gotta get to the text messages because, dude, they really think we're the dumbest fucking people on planet Earth, that we would believe this whole story of what went down on that day. I have this version. I think this one is censored, but I can uncensor it. I think. Hold on. Damn. Nobody talks this way. But, anyway, maybe I'll go here. I hate to go to CNN, but they do have it better. They just have it in a better format. Sorry. So this is what we were told. 33, by the way, they were 33 hours after the assassination. We got him. He turned himself in because of his dad. And then it turns out, no, it wasn't his dad. But I don't know all the details of that. The whole thing is very murky. And the dude is very patsy. And the dude is not the dude that they showed on the stairs. It's just not that same dude. I don't give a shit what anyone says. I said that to my mother. And she was like, exactly. And I'm like, I know, right? We finally agree on something. It's pretty great. They're bringing us together. Anyway, here's what it says here. This is the stupid fucking story that they wanted us to swallow. And some people did. A lot on the right. It's so easy when you get a patsy and you're like, that's the dude. Fuck him, put him in prison forever. Give him the death penalty. And you don't even have a trial yet. Like, could y'all calm down? Damn. Everyone is entitled to due process. That's how it works, but I guess the whole Constitution is up for grabs at this point. Anyway, this says, Charlie Kirk's suspected killer, Tyler Robinson, allegedly texted his roommate the day of the shooting, just conveniently, and discussed his rifle, possible motive, and other details on the planning. His roommate told police about a note left by Robinson under the keyboard, which read, I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it. Police say they found a photo of the note. How convenient. They found a photo. There's a photo of the note. We didn't find the actual note. We just found a photo. So, sorry about that. In the court filing, prosecutors described the roommate as a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. According to this text, I guess you would come to that conclusion, but I have no reason to believe that any of this is true. It's all fan fiction to me, and probably by AI, but anyway, probably not. It could be AI, could be a more sophisticated version that the government uses. Who knows? Robinson's roommate provided their text messages to police, according to the documents. How convenient. The roommate was... I find it interesting that there's a trans element to this, like there was in the previous trans-related shooting, the school shooting that happened that we just kind of moved on from immediately. But I haven't. So that was a trans one. We can't have two trans shootings in a row, but we have to have something trans-related, right? So we got to put some trans in there, even if we have to plant some trans stuff in there. I'm not saying anything, but that person in the photo is dressed like a furry, which is not that's not the same, but okay. Anyways, the roommate was alerted to the note by a text from Robinson, which led to the following exchange, and which CNN transcribed from the charging documents. Oh dear, here we go. Tyler. I'm going to do a whole play here. Hold on. Let me get it situated. I'm going to get into the mode of this fake person. That doesn't exist. Drop what you are doing. I'm sorry. Already I'm like calling bullshit. Drop what you are doing. Even I don't say drop what you are doing. I would say what you're doing. Anyone would say what you're doing. I almost never use you are. Do you use you are, guys? Sometimes I will say do not to emphasize something. Do not. Do not, do not, do not. I say do not a lot, but I do not say I do not say you are. I just don't. I don't think anyone normally would. But anyway, drop what you are doing. Look under my keyboard. Roommate. What? You're joking, right? Dear me. I am still okay, my love, but I am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. Till? Okay, let's move on. You weren't the one who did it, right? I am. I'm sorry. I thought they caught the person. Oh, this one's fun. We'll get to this guy. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Why? Why did I do it? Yeah. I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. How long have you been planning this? A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. Oh, now we get a soliloquy. I'm willing... Sorry. Let's not mischaracterize this man who totally wrote these things. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got my... Sorry, I need a moment. Let me try again. Take two. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't even know if it has a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the fuck will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle. Damn it, hold on. Get it right, Elle. This is important. Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The fucking messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge ooh on Fox News, I might have a stroke, alright? I'm gonna have to leave it. That really fucking sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. Delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, not a video. I'm giving it way too much evidence. And it is very unique. It is. It is. He's calling me RN, not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm gonna turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried about you. Finally chimes in after this soliloquy. Totally didn't delete any messages, if this was true. Obviously it wasn't. Anyway. Don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. Or just, air all of this and make me look like an asshole. Except you didn't do that because none of this was real, so it's fine. So yeah, that happened. Then, back to the whole thing with George Zinn. Oh yeah, this part though. So, here's how he really sounds. We happen to have some information here. Okay, so let's look at his body language. He looks really worried, don't you think?
A lot has...
Okay. I'm sorry for the ear rape. I'm going to turn it down a smidge. Here he is in court.
Surface now in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the person charged with the crime now, Tyler Robinson. There is a lot of information about what he said before and right after this, who knew about it, but we are going to start with his first appearance in court.
Yes, in front of the judge in Utah County. Robinson appeared remotely. He is still in jail, but appeared by a video feed as the charge of aggravated murder was read in court. The only thing he said on the record was his name. The judge asked him to state his name. He said Tyler James Robinson.
He was so stoic that at first it looks just like a photograph.
Yeah.
But that is him. He stood there that way for the entire proceeding, which wasn't long at all.
It wasn't very long. They announced that it was aggravated murder, as we expected. That aggravated murder is what leads to the death penalty. And
okay, so they show him there. Let me see if I can go a little bit deeper here. And I want you to consider also that, or remember that TMZ was behind all of this. Like, they were every day showing, and also they got in trouble for some shit, but we're not gonna get into that. But they were getting evidence and stuff and like investigating and shit. Like, it was a lot. They had a video that came out and all this stuff of him walking around. You can look into this whole case. Like, I'm not gonna do like all of the information, but just give you like an overview because it's too involved. All the lies and everything and the timeline, that's not the same person. That's just saying. Not adding up and everything. Okay, I'm gonna try and see if we get back into the courtroom. I don't think we're in the courtroom anymore. Anyway, there's that, and then shit, that is not what I wanted to go to. In fact, I'm gonna skip right over that. Where did I put that? Oh no, where did you go? Here he is. Okay. So then this dude pops up. The dude that he was mentioning, the old man, is George Zinn. And George Zinn is 71 years old here. And he's been involved in other things, oddly enough. And this is all over online. This is just one account repeating it. But, like, the dude is in a lot of places. So that's screaming psyop. He was a witness, and he was the one who went in early on, so that there was a suspect, and so that the chosen patsy had time to get away and do this whole thing with the manhunt and everything. I guess they needed a lot of drama behind everything, but I don't know. It turns out that he got caught himself, but let's get to this part.
So I'm ready to go leave the hotel on September 11th, early that morning, and go back to Salt Lake City. And they said, come down, look in the lobby. Something's happening here. They said there's a plane that's headed towards one of the towers in New York City. And we're just glued. Everybody in the lobby is just going, wow, is this pilot error? What's going on here? You know, it was very confusing. And we see that plane go in, and we just think, wow, you know, and then I think it was, what, a 9:12 or something like that, that second plane hit that tower. Immediately chaos.
So yeah, that's a weird one. And then, hold on, fuck. Me and my bad. Hold on, let me do this.
We don't know if it's him or not.
The man who claimed responsibility for the murder of Charlie Kirk is now in even bigger legal trouble. I go through the new charges filed against George Zinn involving child pornography and why he says he told the cops he shot Charlie Kirk. 71-year-old George Zinn, he's on video telling police officers a week ago that he was the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk on the campus of Utah Valley University. It was just moments after the shooting. The scene was chaotic as students ran in fear after hearing a gunshot and seeing Charlie Kirk bleeding from the neck. Kirk's staff grabbed him and rushed him to an SUV in the hope of saving his life, but it was simply too much and too late. Newly released documents shed light on how the initial apprehension of the first suspect impeded the Kirk shooting investigation. A detective named Dutson was on duty working the event when he heard a single gunshot at about 12:20 p.m. As he makes his way through the crowd, an elderly man approaches him screaming, "I shot him, now shoot me." That man, we now know, was 71-year-old George Zinn, and he tells officers he's the shooter. But when asked about the location of the firearm, Zinn reportedly said, "I'm not going to tell you." Police escorted Zinn to a patrol car at the back of the venue.
Shoot me! Shoot me! We don't know if it's him or not.
Now here's another view of George Zinn being detained. It was recorded by a witness, and it's been circulating on social media.
This is the guy that shot him?
Zinn was transported to the Utah Valley University Police Department for questioning. Now, before Detective Dutson could advise him of his rights, George Zinn asked for a lawyer, so they couldn't conduct an official interrogation. But the affidavit goes on to state, at that point, I advised George I did not think he was the one who did the shooting. But since he told me he wanted an attorney, I could not talk to him. At that point, he advised, I am already going to be in trouble for saying I shot him, even if I did not. I did not ask him any more questions at that point. George stated on his own that he did not shoot the individual. He stated he did it to draw attention from the real shooter. Now, Zinn's arrest, it went viral on social media, and there were mixed reactions about whether or not he was actually the shooter.
Stage, and I turned and looked, and they were arresting a guy by the name of George Zinn. Yeah, I know the guy. I don't think he did it. I think they arrested the wrong guy. I think whoever did it was a good shooter, a sharpshooter. It was one shot right directly to the heart, and we need to find out who did this. I think there should be a research completely done that took place hours, maybe a day, before anything went on. Who could be there and pull that trigger to it? And I don't think it was George Zinn. He was poor, broke. Maybe he was on medication, a little bit loony boo. Maybe a perfect person to pick and say that did it, but I don't think he did it at all.
So at this point, but did you see him taken into custody? Did you see him with any kind of thing in his hand, any device in his hand or anything like that?
Yeah, I saw him when they actually put the handcuffs behind his back.
I cover a lot of really scary crime stories.
Oh my gosh, they all have commercials now.
Commissioner Bo Mason announced Zinn's arrest and subsequent release.
During the investigative process, we located a couple of persons of interest. We interviewed those individuals, and after releasing them, after clearing them of being suspects, they faced scrutiny, they faced threats. We asked the public to be patient with the investigative process. These individuals were not suspects, they were people of interest. We ask that you do not impose into those people in that investigative process. They don't deserve that harassment for being subject to that.
But newly released documents now reveal that Zinn was at the hospital, and he admits to the FBI, quote, he was glad, he said, he shot the individual so the real suspect could get away. The affidavit provides more information on the comments that Zinn made during the transport. During this time, George made statements to the officer that he was glad he said he shot the individual so the real suspect could get away. He also stated to officers that he wanted to be a martyr for the person who was shot. FBI investigators and Utah state investigators conducted an interview with Zinn where he openly admitted that he was not the shooter. In Utah, that's a crime, so authorities had enough to book Zinn immediately into the Utah County Jail on suspicion of obstruction of justice after he was cleared from the hospital. But it doesn't stop there. Toward the end of the questioning, agents ask him if they can look through his phone and whether or not there would be anything illegal on it. What Zinn says next sparks a whole different investigation. The man sitting in the hospital bed confesses to using his phone to look at child sex abuse material. This is all according to a probable cause affidavit.
Why? Why? How dumb is this dude, or how programmed is he? What the fuck?
Yes, seriously. I guess at least he was honest, but that is incredibly disturbing. The agents sat with Zinn and they looked through his phone contents, and the affidavit is pretty graphic in nature, so I'm just going to read portions of it. The affidavit states, the photos folder contained images of prepubescent female children around the age of 5 years old. The children were dressed in underwear. George told investigators that he was sexually aroused by children ranging in age from 5.
So he's a pedophile. Okay. Sure. Of course, the government would use a pedophile in some capacity, I guess. That makes sense.
To 12 years old. I observed many images of young female children posed in different positions, often referred to as child erotica. One definition of child erotica is non-pornographic material relating to children that is used by individuals for sexual purposes or gratification. The images almost always depict children posed in swimsuits, underwear, or compromising positions. There are more than 20 images of child erotica content on George's cell phone in the images section. These images are copied and reused more than 50 times in separate conversations with different contacts and phone numbers. George is...
Yes, okay. The thing about sexual abuse, child sexual abuse material, is that usually it's not just for the person who is looking at it. There's usually a network going on. That's what I was thinking before when I was thinking about these pedophiles and how they operate, everything. Like, if they're a pedophile, if they're looking at that material, they're probably gaining some kind of profits from it, if they're smart, I guess, sadly. And sharing it with other people and probably getting some kind of something in return for that, I think.
Sending these images in over 5 conversations, saying they are his daughters, asking people to perform sex acts to them, and telling contacts he performs sex acts to them. Investigators seized Zinn's phone, and Utah County forensic examiners downloaded it forensically to further review and investigate. On Monday.
Okay, was that his daughters though? Like, that's kind of a big deal to say that those were his daughters. Let's hope that's not true, because that's fucked. But pedophiles be pedophiling.
George Zinn was released from the Utah Valley Hospital and taken into custody. As of now, there is nothing suggesting that George Zinn and the real alleged shooter, Tyler Robinson, are connected in any way. But this isn't Zinn's first rodeo. He's actually well known by Utah police as a political gadfly. He likes to hang around political...
Exactly. We just looked at that. Here's some more information from Long Crime, like an actual MSM kind of source.
...events. So there's no question as to why Zinn was at the first stop of Charlie Kirk's American Comeback Tour at UVU that day.
A few months ago, I referenced this last night, Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay. He again said, when you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to commit violence. He said, what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable agreement, where violence is not an option. Now, again, to my young friends out there, you are inherent.
Okay, these people are all acting. Clearly, there's a camera in front of them. They're being surveyed by this fucker, Cash. And, you know, they're being told to spout some propaganda and shit. So that's what that is. Let's get back to Zinn, because that's what I care about. I don't know why we went here.
...line on Saturday. Mind you, this was the same week as the Boston Marathon bombing.
Oh, shit.
That killed 3 people and injured 107
Hold
in
up.
Utah with misdemeanor crimes. Most notably, he was involved in the Salt Lake City Marathon, where the then 59-year-old sent an email to the marketing director of the marathon asking, quote, I was wondering if you needed anybody to help place bombs near the finish line on Saturday. Mind you, this was the same week as the Boston Marathon bombing that killed 3 people and injured 100.
Could we maybe look into that? Like, what the fuck is that? Why is he interfering in these psyops and shit? Like, what is going on? Did he not get the memo? Shh. We got somebody else to do it. Stop getting involved.
In 70, so staff took these allegations very seriously. Luckily, nothing happened at the event, but the email was reported and Zinn faced a second-degree felony charge, threat of terrorism. In 2019, Zinn was also one of 8 people arrested at a Utah Inland Port Authority board meeting. Zinn and other protesters became rowdy, pushing and shoving. According to the arrest report, Zinn became angry and pushed some of the protesters because he thought they were blocking a Utah Transit Authority bus. For that incident, Zinn faced charges of disorderly conduct and failure to disperse. But these current charges, they're a whole new ballgame. So to discuss all of this, I'd like to bring in Rich Schoenstein. He is a...
I would like not to. Okay, so then they discuss the legal aspects as they do, because it's a lost channel. So, yeah, there's that aspect of it.